Good morning. Um, it is really early right now. I'm actually sitting here before work. It's the only time I seem to have time to like sit down with a clear head and like get my thoughts out there. So, with that being said, I am going to be talking about a really insane case, which I'm sure if you guys are into true crime, you've already heard stories, blah, 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 this and that. You've already read about it yourself. But I want to talk about it too, because what the. Okay, so if you already seen the title, it's about Taylor Schabusiness, Head in the Bucket. Are you familiar? Does it ring a bell? Yeah, that's what we're doing today. So, without much further ado, let's get into it because I don't have a lot of time. It's before work. I have like max 2 hours, 2 hours to sit here. Let's see what we get. Also, my name is Marisa Jimenez, and what I want to do here on my channel is tell some true crime, but currently I have just like makeup related content, which I love as well. And guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Yeah, I'm gonna be doing some makeup. So I'm really sorry. I've had a lot of caffeine. I hope this energy is sustained throughout the day, but it probably won't be because hello, coffee. But that's what we're living off right now. So if you guys are like me, hopefully you guys can watch this while y'all are getting ready else also. But it is a very tragic case. Let's get into it. Who, well, okay, we all know the infamous story of Taylor Schabusiness. Head in a bucket was found by the mom. What the hell, right? So, since we know that most infamous detail about this infamous case, let's kind of skip over that right now and let's get into who this who this woman actually was. Taylor Schabusiness. First of all, what a name. We all have jokes in our head. We all probably use it in our vocabulary now. Whatever. Let's get past it. Let's move on. Her actual name was Taylor Denise Coronado. Is Denise for real? Like, I'm pretty sure. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. In 1997, so she was born in 1997 to Maria and Arturo Coronado in actually Chicago, Illinois. This like is far from like the story, but that's where they were born, and or that's where she was born. And then whenever she was about like in the ninth grade, they had moved to Wisconsin to because of Taylor's dad. So there they go because of his job to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Everybody knows Green Bay, they probably heard of it because of the football team. So yeah, Green Bay, Wisconsin. So unfortunately, even though it's like really, known for football, there's also like a big like drug user community. And we'll be getting into that as well. I didn't know that. Um, but anyways, let's kind of keep going. So unfortunately, they, were met with tragedy really early on in Taylor's life. Um, Taylor wasn't the only child. She had a brother named AJ, which I guess stood for Arturo, like Junior. Junior? Oh my goodness. Junior. I know for sure that the A was for Arturo as well. So I'm guessing Arturo Jr. And unfortunately, they came across tragedy when in 2009, Taylor's mom, Maria Coronado, she had passed away from cirrhosis, which is caused by alcoholism. So that already like shows a window to like her upbringing, you know what I mean? Because even though the event of her dying itself is like really tragic and heartbreaking, I can't imagine what it is to like grow up with an alcoholic mother. And if you have, I'm really sorry. I'm pretty sure that was really tough. Because even if you haven't had another supporting role in your life or like a lot of family that loves you, I'm sure like having your direct mother being an alcoholic or direct father being an alcoholic is really like painful and heartbreaking. So, yeah, I can't imagine, especially the mom. A lot of times you hear more about the dad, but the mom that's kind of supposed to be more of the nurture role. But I know that's like kind of talking like old fashioned, but in a way it still kind of is because they're the ones that carried you and, you know, hopefully breastfed you or just were like in closer contact with you. But anyways, so that happened, and around that time, so she was about like 9, or no, she wasn't 9. That's when they moved. But like around the same time that she passed away, she also like had to be like assessed with like her mental health because she just, you know, just wasn't doing well, right? And luckily, her father did take her to get an assessment. So she was taken whenever she was about I would say about 12. It was like 7th grade, so 12, 13. And the reason why she was taken is because they wanted to assess her for like behavioral problems and concentration. So I guess she was having issues in school, and so that's what prompted them to take her. Take her. I'm pretty sure, you know, that was like, okay, well, the mom, you know, her mother passed away, and pretty sure like that's like affecting her big time. So he took her, and that's where she was basically diagnosed with like multiple symptoms, well, multiple diagnoses or diagnoses, which were like ADD and ADHD, and I think even bipolar. So they give her like mood stabilizer, an antidepressant, and an antipsychotic. So that's quite a bit of stuff like to keep her, you know, kind of normal and like feeling okay. You know what I mean? Like that's quite a bit of stuff. And so she still basically kind of had issues because apparently the school where she was at, she had still ended up being expelled. And so she had ended up being expelled, but luckily they had paternal grandparents, her paternal grandparents in Texas. And so basically the dad was like, what had her move over there? Um, Basically, you know, to like start her over, get away from those kids that she was having trouble with, just like a new environment, you know, because her mom passed away and stuff. So of course that was so difficult. I mean, I can't imagine like what she was going through. So I am like glad that at least the dad was had kind of acknowledged and like basically did the smart thing at that time. There's not a lot you can do. Parents don't always make the best decisions, but like taking them out of that environment where they're struggling and also like taking them to like a psychiatric, a mental health facility and stuff, I would say is like the most you can do. Obviously, there's so much more like maybe trying to bond with them, spend time with them, finding activities for them. I can't say that he did that, but I did read that, you know, she was in volleyball, she was in like certain activities, but as far as like their relationship itself, I don't know that relationship. There wasn't much said like, oh, like they were close or blah blah blah. So I'm assuming like that was maybe absent. But she was pretty much like a normal child. Um, Despite like the mood stabilizers and the antidepressants and stuff. I mean, I'm not going to say that's not normal. A lot of people are on those things, but it's quite a bit, you know, for like a, you know, a younger child, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. I don't know how common that is. I just know more adults that get on that than children. So I can't really say. And about this time when she got on, she was about 12 or 13, like I said. So, anyways, but she still had like behavioral issues. So she ended up like either getting in a fight or had been in fights, so she gets expelled. And so, like I said, they move her to her paternal grandparents in Texas. And in Texas, basically, she finishes school there. She goes. I don't I don't know if she went up until high school or if she like went in the beginning of high school and then graduated. But either way, she graduated. And she also was taking her medications up until she graduated. So this is like where not the best decision are being made, but it's just it's you can't really like judge that much also because unless you have someone like guiding you with your medication, sometimes the medication can trick you thinking that you're doing okay and that you don't need them off anymore, but it's like what's keeping you happy and keeping you feeling that way, you know, like, oh, I'm good. I don't need this anymore. That's the medication probably like making you feel that way. So unfortunately, she stopped taking the medications. I don't know if she weaned off of it or she just stopped abruptly. And that's kind of where things get like rocky, because I don't know if that's when it started getting rocky, because basically since she was off her medication, at some point she started doing like, she graduated what, like around 2016, 17. So at some point she did start, I guess, maybe looking for like other substances to replace that good feeling that her medications were giving her. So she started doing pot, and I read like one account that said that she was like an addict at age of 15, but I only saw that one account. I didn't see it anywhere else, so I'm gonna say that's not true. But she did start looking for other substances, maybe like alcohol, and then she started doing weed. But then, unfortunately, I guess because of the community there, in Wisconsin, because she moved. Did I say that she moved back to Wisconsin after she graduated high school from Texas? She moved back to Wisconsin, took, was offered, stopped taking her medication, thinking she was feeling good. Like, okay, I can do this now. Like, I'm good now. Like, whatever I was going through, I'm good. And like I said, that was probably the medication talking. Back in Wisconsin, like I said, in Wisconsin, I mean, I'm sure this is in every state, but also Wisconsin, there was like a drug user community. Maybe, I don't know if like bigger than other areas, but for sure it was like big there. And so she did start smoking weed, but that's like everywhere, right? But unfortunately, this is why they say like weed is like a gateway drug, because she started using meth as well. I don't know how or who introduced her. I'm gonna assume like she met people at parties and they were probably drug users, kind of like the organic way of like doing it, right? Like you kind of meet people and then like they peer pressure you. Maybe she was peer pressured. I don't know. She got introduced to methamphetamine. And later, whenever she's like testifying, she refers to it as the bitch. I don't know. You guys, I don't know. I did not look into that further because I was like, whatever. But that's where she starts using the bitch, methamphetamine, the more you know. Um, and because she was using methamphetamine, you need drug dealers, right? So that's where she meets her future husband, Warren Chabot. Chabot, does that sound familiar? Oh, wait, kind of like Schabusiness? Sha? I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, we're not there yet. And this is honestly where things like start going bad, and like please don't like do drugs, because meth is like one of the worst. Meth and heroin, I'm pretty sure heroin is even worse if there is like a worse, but meth, meth for sure, like they're all bad, right? Meth and cocaine and heroin, but yeah, meth is totally up there. It's a super like addictive drug, especially if like you keep using it, if you keep looking for it. And so unfortunately she basically got addicted. And yeah, I mean her life started spiraling, especially when she met her husband, or like at the time like her boyfriend. And this was around like 2018 when she met him, 2018. But then kind of fast forward a little bit, there's like accounts of her like being psychotic. You know what I mean? Like if she had been on her drugs, if she had been on her medication still, I doubt she would be in this position. But she got off of them, fell into the wrong places with like all these like temptation. Oh my gosh, it took me forever. I was like sitting here for like a minute. So kind of fast forward to like something that like her behavior was severely affected. A criminal complaint filed in a 2020 case. And so I guess apparently somebody had complained that like she was going around doors and like knocking on people's doors, right? So they call over the cops and stuff and to see what's going on. And like whenever they caught her about to cross the street, they had asked her like what was going on, and she like literally like quote unquote stated, she said not sure, and was on a different planet right now. Was on a different planet right now. And then she had also told him that she just shot up, and she showed she showed them her like track marks of shooting up. I can't even tell you like what, I guess she injected herself out. And so then that's when she started acting like even crazier. I mean, as if the, about to walk across the street wasn't crazy enough. Like she was gonna walk across, oh no, correction. She was walking in the middle of the street because, you can walk a street if there's like a crossway, right? But she was walking in the middle of the street. So basically she started to try to fight them off and she like kicked an officer and that's where like that's where she got charged with battery, with like mental illness. It's just like, this was like basically a cry for help in my opinion. I don't know if they had like searched her history or like if she had previously been on drugs, but it just sucks. Like, I mean, she was like probably like doing her intrusive thoughts, you know what I mean? Like she was acting on her intrusive thoughts. She probably had been wanting to kill herself and then she's like in the action and then they stop her. And so it's, even though I don't want to defend her at all, but so this was one of like two that I'm about to get to. So later in 2021, she was actually hospitalized for an actual suicide attempt. And it said she was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar disorder, and that added to her past diagnoses of severe depression, ADD, and ADHD. So the first one, okay, like you can argue like she was just high or whatever, but she was like knocking on doors and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it was like, to me, almost a cry for help. And then for a second, like situation where she was literally caught with a suicide attempt. I mean, of course, again, I'm not trying to defend like what she did or like it could have been stopped by someone, but I'm just like, could the police have not done anything? Like, maybe keep her in a mental institution? I don't freaking know. Like, I hate like blaming cops for everything when like they're literally just trying to stop like murder and unsafe people on a daily basis. Like, it's hard to catch like everyone right, but anyways, I digress and we can keep going. So I know I kind of stopped talking about like her boyfriend Warren Chabot, but I'm also like, where the heck were you? Like, why was she acting like this? Clearly, that was not a very loving situation. But also, so that happens like with her incidents with, her being high and suicide attempts and stuff. She's with Warren. It's like, where is this guy, right? At some point, they get married. I believe in 2020 on Valentine's Day. That's what I read. I really didn't read much into that because it was just like whatever. They got married. And then shortly after, Taylor Schabusiness or Chabot, no, Schabusiness, because they got married, changed her name to, instead of Chabot, like Warren's last name, to Schabusiness, whatever. It doesn't matter why they did that. They're just the smartest people ever. Um, then they get pregnant also in 2020. Yay! That's, baby, what, you guys, they're both meth addicts, okay, at this point. He's a meth dealer, meth addict. I'm gonna assume she's a meth addict. So, then they get pregnant. I mean, can you just first of all imagine that relationship already? They have meth fueled fights. They have meth fueled probably sex, whatever that's like. I don't know. Don't ever care to find out. They just have a meth fueled relationship. You know what I mean? So, okay. And then to top it off, she wants to go through with the pregnancy. Like, you guys, I am not really for abortion. There's many instances where I'm just like, it's probably the best situation because you don't want a child to be brought up in misery and stuff. But for the most part, like, dude, I'm like, have your baby. It's a gift to you and all that stuff. But in this case, y'all, in this case, if she would have came to me, I would have been like, girl, I'll take you to, a clinic. There's free clinics. Like, I'm sorry, but you don't need to be having no baby. So yeah, she gets pregnant, has a baby, and at some point during her pregnancy, there are also like claims that she was so unbalanced while she was pregnant. I don't know, you guys. This is just horrible. I hope she wasn't, but I wouldn't be surprised. But maybe she started off, hopefully. But I don't know if you can just go cold turkey even though you're pregnant. Like, anyways, at some point, either during her pregnancy or after her pregnancy, her, Prince Charming born Chabot, he's a meth dealer. Guess what happens? At some point, he gets caught for distribution or whatever. He's already had so many encounters with the law, of course. She got her a real one. But he gets caught again or for the first time for distribution, not sure. He goes to jail. He goes to prison. So great. Her Prince Charming, her husband, the father of her child, goes to jail. I mean, she's in a great place because, her mental health isn't rocky and, she's not a meth addict. Well, I think at this time she had stopped at some point, but this is just the love story that everybody. I don't want to be a hater, but it just, I'm like at this point just thinking about that baby. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of forgetting that I'm going to work. So I can't keep it too crazy, but at the same time, I don't work anywhere that it matters that much. So yeah, that's all happening at the same time. Um, and so she has a baby, but she's still having mental health issues. So the baby ends up going to one of the grandparents. I'm gonna say the paternal grandparents of the baby, which is, I think, despite whether she's spiraling down or not, I think it should go with somebody else. I hope that baby's okay because I feel like he had some kind of secondhand consumption or however you call it of drugs, but whatever. I'm just gonna hope and pray that that's not the case. But yeah, because she's just not doing well. She has this other like kind of mental breakdown. Her husband's gone. She's kind of at a weak point. So the baby is out of the picture, right? This is like 2021. The baby's born like in 2021. So this is like nearing the date of the incidents that we're about to get to. Also, during this time, she doesn't have her dad either because this is where like I didn't want to give credit to the guy for being a good guy for taking her to the mental health institution when she was like 12 or 13 because of what I'm about to say now, which I'm sure you may have already like heard of it or not. I don't know. But he was kind of like charged in 2018 for raping like about like a 13, 14, 12-year old child. And that was the child that not the child, that was like a relative of like his wife that he married after Taylor's mom passed away. Like, so his, I guess, first wife, Taylor's mom, passed away from cirrhosis, like I had said in the beginning. He remarried, and that happened like, so what, he remarried like pretty soon after. She died in like, 2013, I don't know, around that time. And then he remarried. Well, in 2018, he got convicted of raping a 13-year-old child, a family member of the wife. And that marriage thankfully fell apart because thankfully, I'm hoping that the wife or his ex-wife now is like normal, even though it's questionable because of how they remarried and kind of seems like they set aside the children at the time, like Taylor and her brother. But whatever, at least like she's still like decent enough to be like, hell no, like screw you, like disgusting, divorce. So yeah, he was convicted of that in 2018. So he's in jail whenever, Taylor like lost her child or got custody taken away. Warren Chabot is in prison or goes to prison for partially, and I'm sure like the biggest reason for distribution of drugs. So she is all alone. She has mental health issues. She is not on her medication. I mean, she had gone back to the mental health like institution at some point with her suicide attempt, but she just wasn't properly taking her medication. She goes back to meth because at this point she's a meth addict. You know what I mean? So this is where she reaches out to Shad Therian. I know I haven't really mentioned him, but at some point in high school, they did like that's where they met. But she rekindled like her friendship. I know I don't know a lot of facts about the story because honestly, that wasn't my focus. But I kind of wanted to like build something to just know like what kind of person it takes, to create this monster that we ended up with in this case. So yeah, she had known him, and that's why they met up to begin with because they had already known each other. So they had already known each other since high school. I guess, I don't know if Green Bay is huge or not, but of course, like I've reached out to people like a few years after, and people have reached out to me a few years after high school, and we're like, hey, what's up? Like, how you been? What's been going on? So because they were like they had a previous sexual relationship like in high school or something, they met back up and they rekindled their, sexual relationship. And yeah, they were like together again, I guess, in that way, in some sort. And so this is where we start getting to the events of today's case, the incident, the tragic, horrible incident. So, February 21st, you guys, again, like, just side note, like if I get any of these dates wrong, please don't hate me. I'm just getting to the gut of the work, but I'm pretty sure these are the dates. I don't want to like be Googling or whatever. But yeah, it's really not what matters. But anyways, on February 21st, so they meet up, kind of like they have been, I guess, and they basically are drug buddies. And but you know what though? I will say she was already hanging out with some other people, and what seemed to be what was where she was living at the time at some Eastman Avenue apartments in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So she was hanging out with these other people from that she knew from high school as well, and they all basically like her and two other friends, all guys, basically all knew Shad Theory, and like they all like I guess knew each other at some point. They were hanging out like even in that evening, they call up Shadarian, and I think one of them is also named AJ, and he was like, either him or Taylor took his phone and messaged Shadarian. He was like, okay, like come pick me up. So Shad and AJ go pick up Shadarian. Shadarian also lives in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and I think he like went back and forth to like his parents, but at that time he was with his mom, Tara Pagnick. I kind of mumbled that because I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but I put it on the screen. I think that's how you say it. So, ooh, I don't know if this is the best look I've ever done in my life. So they go pick him up. They go back to the apartments. They start doing I think they're already smoking weed, and then they start, doing the bitch, methamphetamine. And what kind of like really cranked it up a notch was the fact that they started not only doing these drugs, but also they started taking trazodone, which is like an antidepressant. Correct me if I'm wrong. Trazodone, which yes, I believe it's an antidepressant because the meth would get them high, and then the trazodone would bring them down. And apparently it's a thing. You guys, what the please don't do this. Please, please, please don't do this. So that's what they started doing, or that's what they were doing. Apparently, Taylor didn't take the trazodone, but it doesn't matter at this point. It's as if she fucking did because of her freaking actions. So they basically go back because they want to get it on because they're already like sexual partners. So her and Taylor and Shadarian take one of her friends' van. That's what they were initially to pick him up. So they take the van back, a white van back to her, a white van, so creepy, back to Tara's house, which is again Shadarian's mom's, and he was when he would stay there, he would stay in the basement. So basically, it was the first level. There was a second floor, and then there's a basement. So he would stay in the basement. So that's where they went back to. And at this point, like Tara, Tara, Shadarian's mom lived with her boyfriend. Basically, once Shad and Taylor Schabusiness went downstairs to the basement where Shadarian was staying, they started getting it on, and like she grabbed a dog collar. Apparently they had two. It's something they like to do. So they started doing that, and this is where everything goes downhill, like for real, for real. She is kind of gets on him, like riding him like a dog or like a horse, I don't know. And she basically just keeps going. And it, she said like in her like for initial interrogation with the detectives that she first of all she was high as hell, going up and down with trazodone. If I'm pretty sure she took it too. If not, she was still high as hell. And she kept going, and she would see his face go purple, and then like turn colors, and then like blue, like from like red to purple to blue. And she said that she just kept going because he started coughing up blood, and she just like might as well had just finished it because he was already choking and like coughing up blood. And she stated that it took about like 3 to 5 minutes. So yes, 3 to 5 minutes is it's way longer than seconds, right? It's not like it took seconds to kill him. 3 to 5 minutes is fast, but at the same time, like it's definitely enough time to stop, especially when you're seeing all these like colors a person is turning and like coughing up blood. I think at some point, even though he was coughing up blood, he still would have been all right, or with some damages, but he still would have made it. But she had killed him, right? So after she did what she did, she left, which we'll get into that in a minute. Fast forward like a whole nother day, like a whole nother 24 hours. It's like so it was really early in the morning on February 22nd when that happened. So let's forward to 24 hours, about like really early morning, February 23rd, 2022. The Green Bay, Wisconsin, like 911 operator center received a call. This, phone call was picked up, and a guy was on the phone, and they were like, what's going on? And he was like, my girlfriend is saying that she found a like decapitated head in a bucket, and that she's saying that it's like her son. And of course, the operator was like, what? Because Greenville, Wisconsin, yeah, maybe there's crime there, like normal crime. I'm sure that's too, but a decapitated head is freaking wild as shit, right? So, like anybody, she was like, I think they even asked her like, can you check? They were asking the guy, and this guy was Tara's boyfriend, Steve. So they're asking her like, can you check? And like, is she hallucinating, or is she on medication or something? At some point he checks and he confirms. And so they send a cop over, Officer Alex Wanish. And yeah, he goes to where they had stated that they had found a head, and it was in a bucket in the basement, covered with a beach towel. and he secured a wild ass freaking crime scene. So a second officer comes. I don't even know this officer's name at this point, and he's like taking, like a statement from the mom, and they're like, "Do you know who could have done this? Like, who was he with?" Immediately, Taylor Schabusiness. Yeah, Taylor Schabusiness. She's like, she was with her like this whole time. Like, that's the last person we saw him with, saw him with. And so it was finding her, like they knew like where she lived or where she stayed at, and so they went to those apartments, and they also stated that it was a white van. They located that white van in those apartments where they were told that she lived at, and as they got there, she was actually walking out, and it's just so crazy because it's like I guess she was high. I don't know if she was high, and so she wasn't even trying to like run away or hide, but she was in like her all black like outfit and like with dried ass blood on her hands. She was literally caught with like red-handed. And they asked her like, "Do you know why we're here?" And then she said something about, "Oh, like I have a warrant on my arrest or something," because she was still supposed to have like this like ankle bracelet on her that she had taken off, by the way, I believe. So yeah, she was already in some like shit, and then she like created a whole lot of more shit for her, like the shit that's gonna put her freaking fucking away forever. So they caught her red-handed. She wasn't even trying to run away or nothing. Whoa, I forgot I like kind of did something crazy. So I'm still going to work, by the way. So they catch her literally red-handed, and she it's like she was ready to be caught because she did her freaking makeup. Y'all saw that mugshot, right? Like it was her makeup was done. I've never seen, I don't think I've ever, or maybe almost never, I can't think of one mugshot that I've seen where someone's makeup is done. It's like I think she was just ready to get handed over to the, police, and she got ready to go to jail, like to get caught. Isn't that wild? So she got caught because she basically like didn't try to run away, and they knew that she was Taylor Schabusiness. Well, because she confirmed she was Taylor Schabusiness, but she didn't say that. She didn't admit that. Oh, you're here because I killed Shadtherian. But and before I tell you what she said in custody, so Officer Wayne, she saw like an how do you call it, unsheeted bed, like a bed without the sheet over it. He saw like a bare mattress with blood on it, and he started finding like bags and stuff, different bags. But they noticed that for the gruesomeness of the parts and stuff, like what had happened, there wasn't enough blood for it all. You know what I mean? Like there should have been like blood everywhere. So that's kind of where they get more details from Taylor Schabusiness, which of course, like for every interrogation, whenever the killer survives and like the victim is, no longer there, like passed away, and there was nobody around to like witness what happened, you can only go off of the criminal, right? What they're saying. But they also did say that what she said, like where things were and stuff, did line up to like the crime scene. So I guess she wasn't completely out of it, but they did arrest her when she was still high. So as we know, poor Tara Paknevik found her son's head in the bucket, which is so unfortunate. I could never like have words for how terrible and sad that must be. Like I will forever like feel so bad for her. Um, so Officer Waynish, like so after they caught her, like they were investigating the room and stuff. He found a plastic bucket on the floor, and he also observed a shower beach towel over the bucket. So basically, like, the head in the bucket. and he saw a head inside the bucket. He looked around the room, and like I said, he observed the dried blood on the mattress that was in there, which was not with the sheet. And so the second officer, that's where he confirmed like the details with the mom, and that's where they were able to locate Taylor. And once they like got custody of the van itself, they also found a crock pot box in there, and oh my god, you guys, it's just horrible. It contained some like human body parts, and which included the legs. What a place to put whatever. It's just like a freaking crock pot box, the most innocent thing ever, and it has freaking human remains in there. This is like in a parking lot, you guys. Like, can you imagine like you're walking through a parking lot or something, and there could be a freaking like vehicle with like cut up pieces. Oh my god. Okay, so when that medical examiner like got there, he could tell that the decapitated head, Shatharian's head, it had been, there was like evidence of strangulation. And also, not only was the head in there, but there was like penis and stuff, a male organ. And then the head was identified visually in comparison with a prior photograph of the victim, and it was confirmed to be the victim. And then also located in a storage tote, an upper torso was located. The upper torso had numerous rigid cuts at the site where the head was removed, consistent with the separated head. Also located in the tote was a carving knife consistent with a kitchen knife, and several internal organs. Located in the search was what appeared to be significant blood staining on an unsheeted top mattress, like I previously said, along with what appeared to be a site of a previously cleaned up blood on concrete surface next to and under a significant portion of the bed. So they were just like finding all this evidence, right? Like basically body parts were just like scattered everywhere in different bags. They found some body parts in the van where they had located her in the Eastman Apartments. So basically, even though she was high as shit, clearly she was trying to hide the parts. She was clearly trying to move him like out of there, and like she was trying to get away with it. So this whole like later on when she tries to play the insanity deal is not gonna work on her, honey. Like, no, it's not, because so much evidence of her trying to like get rid of everything. And so even though she was like under the influence, there's a detective Scanlon. He reports that based on Schabusiness statements and officers' observations at the scene, Detective Scanlon, he did find that Schabusiness was saying what she was saying was consistent with their findings during the search of the basement. So she wasn't like completely full of shit. Like she was actually like remembering correctly, and like she was like cognitive and stuff, like remembering what she did and like where she put everything. So this is where it just gets like, I mean, it's all fucked up, right? But this is just where it just starts. There's no remorse, or maybe there is, but she's just too like messed up to really express it. But basically, when they brought it in for questioning, there was two detectives that were questioning her. I guess Detective Gruff and Detective Scanlon. Yeah, Scanlon was one of them, and he was the one that like confirmed that the police officer's findings and like where the objects actually were consistent with what she was saying. And then there's a Detective Graff. So they were questioning her, or they're telling her like what they had found, and her response was, that is pretty fucked up. Yeah, it is. It is pretty fucked up. They had asked her like what like happened, basically, why did this occur? Why did you have to do this? And she said, quote unquote, that's a good question. Saying that because she said she had blacked out at the time, but she literally responded, that's a good question. That's a good question. You guys, I could just sit here for hours and hours and hours going around with this like confession. So disrespectful. I mean, obviously, like she wasn't trying to respect anybody with these actions, but wow. So she was explaining that, it started because they basically like were about to have sex and that's just something they do, and that the strangulation was part of a sexual act. And then the detectives were asking if they had contact with anybody else. Like they're in the middle of asking if they had contact with anybody else when they got back to the house. And that's where she abruptly goes, "Damn, the head." And she's like, "I can't believe I left the head though. I can't believe I left the head though, and damn the head." Like, I guess that was part of her being high because she was like coming in and out. She was high during the interrogation, like, because they had just like, well, I don't know if like throughout that whole day that she was with him alone in the basement, if she did meth again, but I guess it was long enough to like carry the high for. I don't think that she did meth again. She could have done meth again because I think they went to go pick up more meth. But either way, she was high during the interrogation. She was high during the murder. She was high during the dismembering of the body. I'm so sorry if I didn't say like she starts like after they. I'm basically saying like what happened after um she killed him. So they're getting interrogated right now. She's getting interrogated right now, and now she's explaining like what happened. So right now up to this point, they're trying to ask her what happened and why she killed it and like what happened after. So we're at the point where she already explained that she choked him by strangulation, and the gruesome, really, really gruesome details are yet to come. That's where we're at. So sorry. I know this really sucks, but like I have it all in my head, and yeah, it's wild. They're asking where the rest of the body was, trying to figure out, okay, like now they know that the strangulation, that's what happened. Before they even get to the details of like how she got to dismembering, they were trying to like figure out where all the pieces were. And she literally also said that you guys are gonna have like fun. We're gonna have fun trying to find all the pieces of the body, all the organs. Like, still getting ready for work, by the way. She said that all the body parts should be in the basement. Um, and she said that there should be a foot or a leg in the video, which there was. They did find it. So she was saying that she started putting like body parts with the dismemberment. Like after she had dismembered, she put the body parts in different bags. But then at one point she got lazy. She got lazy, you guys. And she said she thought it was dope because like she was feeling paranoid, and she thought that was dope. Okay, whatever. But she said she got lazy, like from like doing all the work of like putting all the pieces away. You guys, she was saying it as if she got lazy from like cleaning. You get lazy cleaning the whole house, so you like stop midway. Or you get lazy like maybe cooking or organizing, so you stop midway and then you leave it unfinished. But she was talking about trying to put the pieces away and clean up like the dismemberment. Oh my God. This is why I can't like finish my makeup, because I feel like I'm reacting to my own like telling the story. You know what I mean? Like my own story that I'm telling right now. So a little bit more about when she actually choked him. She said that when she was choking him, he coughed up blood, and she was just waiting for him to die while she was watching his face. And she made the comment that she was already this far. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Like she was already there, like with him coughing up blood, and she just decided that it would be easier for him to just finish the job and like have him pass away than I guess releasing and like having him like be coughing and coughing and coughing and like blood like coming out and stuff. Like she just figured that was just I don't know. I think she figured that if he lived, I think that, she thought in her head, in her meth fueled head at the time, that if she like didn't kill him, then he would probably like have to go to the hospital, and it was gonna be like this big deal or whatever. Like I'm rolling my eyes at this whole statement that I'm making, and I just feel like she thought it would be simpler to just kill him because she had already like hurt him so much, and that she could just put everything away and like she could just go on with her life. You know what I mean? Nobody even asked her this, you guys, but I did see like the recording of like the detective like asking, um interrogating her, and they didn't even ask her like this question, but she was just kind of like saying that, right? Like she just kept going, and then she was like in a low voice, I liked it. And then the detective was like, you liked it? And she was like, yeah. And I was just like, I'm telling you, this whole thing is like me reacting to my own story. Like it's like the first time I'm hearing it again. I can't. How about let's call this like a reaction video to my own story as I'm telling it. You know what I mean? Like I can't. They asked her, did he try to fight back? And she said yes. I mean, obviously it's like a freaking like reflex, to want to fight. And then she said that she had blacked out while choking him, but when she woke up that he was already purple, and she said she enjoyed choking him. And for some reason she said, they had asked like, have you ever like known what it's like to love something so much that you kill it? No. So he passed away, and so they asked like, what did you do next? And she stated that she played with his body, his lifeless body, his corpse at this point, turned her on. I don't know why, whatever. She, why wasn't she turned on when he was alive and could do stuff? Like, whatever. And that was such a foul way to say it. Like, that was stupid. But I'm just saying, like, they were fine being kinky, like, before he died with I don't, whatever. And so she, performed like oral on him, on his male organs. I'm trying to like not be so graphic because it's disgusting, guys. He's like not alive at this point anymore. And that, she had a dildo, and she put it in his mouth and in his behind. So yeah, she played with his body for a few hours, like 2 to 3 hours. And then the detective wanted to, clarify she was in the basement the whole time, and she said she was. And so she was with him all day Tuesday into Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. So they basically had first all reunited with friends, Tuesday night, right? And then, no, they had all reunited Monday night, okay? Monday night, Tuesday morning, they went back to Tara Packnevig's Shatharian's mom's house. Went into the basement. This is like Monday night, Tuesday morning, that she killed him. So then Tuesday morning, up until like Tuesday night, heading into Wednesday morning. So like Wednesday morning, she was with him like the whole time, basically. Like Wednesday morning, really late Tuesday night. That's when she left. Just to clarify, like the timeline. So she was with him all entire day Tuesday. The family was also in the house. They were all there, and not that we're at the testimony where people are testifying yet, but Steve, which is Tara's boyfriend, said that he ran into her at some point. She was in the kitchen, like they had met in the kitchen. I guess they crossed paths, and so she was like, I guess she was trying to, create a diversion or whatever. And she asked him for reading glasses, and he was like, yeah. And he gave her some reading glasses, and I guess he went away. But that's where she was grabbing the knife. So I just wanted to point that out. It's not really in the timeline yet, but it's just like they crossed paths, and like he was already dead, shot there in the basement, and oh my god, like I can't. So after she did that, that's where it kind of like goes into, he started asking, that little piece of information kind of does relate to what I'm about to say next. He asked like how did dismemberment happen, and she said that she went upstairs and she grabbed some knives. She basically put his body, to where like his head was like kind of like off of the edge and his body was facing up, and she started going at the head, And then she put like this tub thing container underneath, and that's where the head fell in, and then the blood had drained. And at some point, she had, like drained the blood in the bathroom in the tub. So that's why like there was so little blood in the crime scene, because initially they noticed that there wasn't enough blood for the dismemberment that happened. Like it wasn't adding up. Like where was all the blood? Well, she had drained a lot. So let's just say, yeah, she basically went at the rest of the body, and she just found different bags and stuff in containers to put like everything in, and she even used like the torso to store some organs. It's really bad. Yeah, I know. And yeah, she was basically at some point, I think she got tired. She took a nap, and then she like got re-energized, and she kept going at it because she was trying to hide the body. She was working really hard to get rid of the evidence, but she was so freaking high, and she said she got tired and all that stuff. And yeah, like this doesn't look good if you're trying to act like you're mentally insane, because you're putting in the work. Like you are adding the chronological like events, like you're thinking about the order of events. Like, okay, I have to like take the body out, so whenever, eventually Shad is like being questioned about like where's Shad, eventually someone's gonna come down and like look for him. She was trying to take him out of there, all his parts. So she was thinking in some type of order, some type of logical order, so she wouldn't get caught, or that's what she was trying to. So yeah, that's not a good look when you're trying to, you know, have the insanity plea or whatever. What was that? I mean, she was caught right away. So basically, whenever the trial came, this was like, this happened in 2022. So the trial was like the next year. And like it started in July. And basically, she had some competency hearings, like mental health assessments and stuff. And they had discovered, her past, about whenever she was like a child or, a kid, she had those medications, and then she had another breakdown again later in life, like when 2020, and she was like taken to the mental health institution, and her kid was taken away. They learned all those things. She had different mental health evaluations, um, and like the defense psychiatrist said that she was not fit for trial, but then like she had two other evaluations, or um, you know, yeah, evaluations, and they both said that she was fine, like she can stand trial. So whenever the trial actually came, there were two phases. I don't know if they always do this or if they did this for her specific, like for her type of case. But basically, they had phase one in the trial, and that's to to find her guilty of like what they were charging her for. So they found her guilty for first degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third degree sexual assault. So first degree intentional homicide, first degree mutilation of a corpse, and third degree sexual assault. Apparently the jury deliberated for like only an hour, and I feel like it probably took him even less time than that, like maybe 45 minutes. But like what if it took them like 20 minutes, but they were just kind of trying to like, because of the gravity of the situation, and they're about to put somebody behind bars like potentially for the rest of their life. Like what if it really only took them 20 minutes, but they kind of like made it seem like it was longer? I don't know. I kind of like thought about that. Like who would be like for finding her not guilty, like that was pretty obvious because she like gave herself away since the beginning. um and also, I mean, I could go into details. Like I know she did have a first um her first attorney she had attacked. I'm sure you guys have seen that. um there was a lot said saying that she was trying to like do the like the mental, she was trying to do the insanity card where she was like too crazy to stand trial, but that didn't work. And she got a second attorney. The trial was just ridiculous for the phase one because nothing was in her favor. I mean, it was obvious they proved that she did it like right off the bat. She gave herself away. She wasn't trying to hide. Her fingerprints were all over. There were witnesses. So that was kind of ridiculous to watch. I mean, I know like the defense lawyer has to do his job, but also like there was nothing there really for him to build. Like there wasn't a case really. So that was the first phase, and then the second phase, it was whether she was like actually like insane, and it also took the jury like an hour or less to find her not insane and that she will not be going to a mental health institution and she will be going to prison. So she was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, and that is the case. The only other thing I could probably say is that she had some people that testified. She had like that friend that like had hung out with them that night, AJ. He just was kind of saying that yeah, they knew each other and that they were pretty chill, but he was saying that he would have never thought that she would do something like this. There wasn't any signs like that. The mom testified. I just pray for her. Oh my God, I'm just so like, bless her heart. Steve testified. That's when he testified that he had ran into her to the kitchen at one point when she was looking for the damn knives. I think even the teenage girl, like Tara's daughter, she testified, but it was, not much going on there. Thank goodness, because oh my God, like why she doesn't have to be there? Why is she there? But of course, she was in the house. But who also testified, and this was, I believe, for the second phase of the trial, for whether she was insane or not. The Taylor Schabusiness's dad testified. He came in like in an orange jumpsuit and then like he was cuffed and everything in chains. And he was just trying to say that she's had a lot of mental health issues and that Warren was like the cause of like this because he's the one that like got her into meth, and he like his literal statement was about Warren: the kid was already doing that shit before and just a fucking loser, and he got my daughter involved in that shit. So while that is probably true, honestly, that's probably a true statement, that he's the reason that she was in it. I mean, it wasn't like forced. She didn't force her, I don't think, to do that. And just because you're on meth doesn't mean you can get away with these things. Oh, and also, it's also a law that like if you are under the influence of a drug, you can't like being under the influence doesn't qualify. There you go. You to like to do the insanity plea. Because you were under the influence. So if she wasn't under the influence, she may have been qualified, but since she wasn't, that was like cut out right off the bat. So yeah, I just feel like there's so many highlights that I wanted to insert, but I feel like that's the main ones. The only other thing that I thought was sad was that, well, there's a lot of situations that is sad. Like I think her kid ended up being with like Taylor's grandmother, not the kid's grandmother, Taylor's. So that's the kid's great grandmother. You guys, what is a great grandmother taking care of a little like 2-year old doing? You know what I mean? Like, I hope that kid is well and goes to like someone that is younger. No offense, like age and stuff, but no great grandmother should be in charge of like a little child. You know what I mean? My gosh. Um, and also, Shadarian's dad, he did take the stand. Like his final like statement, and he said that he forgave Taylor Swift. don't know. Sorry, the camera cut off. I don't know how he can say that, but bless him um, for saying that because I think she needs some kind of forgiveness in her life because she's not, she's going to be locked up forever and she's only in her 20s. And it's really the only but huge crime. Like, because, yeah, she had like trouble with the law, but she was just being kind of reckless, not really harming anybody. But then to go from like just kind of being like a drug addict to that, holy shit. Like, and then I know her Shad's uncle, I believe, he was like basically like fuck you, So and the whole time Taylor didn't talk. Like she exercised her right to like not speak, and they just confirmed with like confirm that she wasn't like being pressured not to speak. But yeah, she didn't speak the whole time. She didn't speak. She just like mumbled like yes or no or something, and that's it. Like everything else was like everyone else. She didn't take the stance to try to defend herself, nothing. So I don't know. Is she insane? I would say yeah, probably, but like not to where it's excused, not to where like this kind of behavior is excused. So that was the case. It did kind of make me sad because I don't know, like a lot of people didn't have a break in the story, and that's poor child. I could go on forever talking about how sorry I feel for the child and stuff, but it's just does it run in the family? Is it nature? Is it nurture? Is it both? Let me know what you think down below. Thank you for watching. If you stayed this long, I need to go to work because it's been over 2 hours and I need to like basically get my stuff together within an hour. I woke up really early for this. So that's why I still have some time, but holy crap. Woo. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. This was a really heavy case, especially for like my first video, so I hope it turned out okay. Maybe I should have started off a little lighter, but yeah, that's the case, and let me know what you think, or if like there's so many details that I didn't mention that maybe I don't know that, maybe I do, maybe I just skimmed over or just like didn't mention, but I will see you in the next one. There definitely will be a next one. And yeah, have a good day at work if you're going to work. If not, then, just have a good day. We'll see you next time, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.